Our next topic we're going to learn about is the distributive property. And this is a strategy that we use in a particular situation. Okay. Now, I want to show you, there's a way that sometimes the distributive property gets confused. So just remember that when we used order of operations, right, this was the first thing that we talked about this year. When we did that, and if we had something like this, we said, okay, parentheses first, right? I'm going to solve the parentheses, I'm going to do the math in the parentheses first. So 3 plus 4, that's 7. And then 5 times 7 is 35. Okay, so that is correct. That is what we've already learned. Now, if we use the distributive property, I'm going to do this same problem in a different way. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, this was 5 times everything inside the parentheses. Now, what was inside the parentheses? What was inside the parentheses was 7, right? I can add the two together and it was 7. I can also say, oh, well, it's 5 times everything inside the parentheses. So I can actually do it this way. I can say, okay, that's 5 times 3 is 15. I'm multiplying, right? And 5 times 4, that's 20. And then I can add them together. 15 plus 20 is 35, okay? So notice the same answer. These are both absolutely correct. I would say this one is easier, right? Like if you have just numbers, I would say this is easier, right? Like we added 2 little tiny numbers and we did 1 multiplication. Here we had to do 2 multiplications and then add 2 larger numbers. Like this is for sure the easier method if you have this situation where you have all numbers, right? The issue is that we can't always use this method, right? But what if, instead of having something like 3 plus 4 here, we have something like, and look, I'm gonna use the same numbers. What if this was 3x plus 4? What if it was like this? Okay, now here's the thing, right? These, see how here I just did 3 plus 4 and I got 7. I can't do 3x plus 4 here. I can't combine those. These are not like terms. Okay, these are not like terms. So what that means is they can't be combined. They can't be added. They can't be combined. So I can't do this. I can't use this strategy. However, what I can do is I can still use the distributive property in order to get rid of these parentheses. And sometimes I want those parentheses gone. So again, what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, well, this is 5 times everything inside the parentheses. So it's 5 times 3x, and it's 5 times 4. And remember, what I'm doing here is I am multiplying. Okay, these parentheses, when I have a number next to parentheses, it means multiply. This means multiply. Okay, so I'm doing 5 times 3x, so 5 times 3, that's 15. X, and 5 times 4, that equals 20. Okay, and notice it looks very similar here. The difference is that this was a 3, so I got 15. This was a 3x, so I got 15x. Okay, and here's the thing. This is my answer here. Why? Because these are not like terms. I can't combine them. Okay, they're not like terms. So let's get into some examples. And what you're going to see is I'm going to do some examples. And you're going to do some practice. But I'm not going to go over the practice. You're going to actually do it. And you're going to raise your hand and get checked. Okay? So pause the video if you need to finish these top notes. Okay, so some examples here. So let's say I have something like this, 4 times 2n minus 3. Okay, so I have 4 is multiplied by everything inside the parentheses. So 4 is being multiplied by 2n and by negative 3. These are not like terms. I can't combine them. So I'm going to multiply. I'm going to use a distributive property, which means I'm going to distribute the 4 here and here, and I'm multiplying. So 4 times 2 is 8. It's 2n, so it's 8n. 4 times negative 3. Now careful here. Positive times negative is negative, and 4 times 3 is 12. And I'm done. These are not like terms. I cannot combine them. Okay, so look, I'm going to put a practice problem over here. You can pause the video now and do it now before you continue, or you can save all the practice until the end. But either way, after I do the examples, you're going to do the practice problems and you're going to get checked. Okay, but feel free to pause right now and do this one. That would actually make a lot of sense. Let's take a look at another one. Negative 2 times 4x minus 5. Okay, so notice here, the number that's on the outside that's being multiplied is a negative number, so we just need to be careful with that, right? When I'm still going to multiply, but we just need to pay attention to the signs. Negative times positive is negative. 2 times 4 is 8, and this is x, so this is going to be negative 8x. Now here I have negative times negative is positive, and 2 times 5 is 10. Okay. And just a reminder, right, if I'm multiplying positive times positive, that equals positive, right? If I multiply negative times negative, that also equals positive. If I have two of the same sign when I multiply, like here I had negative 2 times negative 5, that was positive. Okay, it's when we get to two different signs, like I'm doing a positive times a negative or a negative times a positive, that's when my answer is going to be negative. Okay, these are the rules for multiplying and dividing. Okay, so here is your practice problem. Negative 4 times negative 5x plus 1. And once again, you are welcome to pause right now and do it, or you can do them all at the end. Okay, here's another one. Okay, notice this one. It seems as if there's not a number out in front, but in fact there is, right? This is a negative 1 being multiplied by these two inner terms. So this is, and you might want to observe kind of what happens here, right? Negative 1 times 3. Okay, so negative times positive is negative. 1 times 3 is 3, and this is 3x, so it's negative 3x. Here, negative times negative is positive, and 1 times 7 is 7, and this is my answer. Okay, and you might just want to observe, right, that when I did multiply by negative 1, what happened? Well, this positive changed into a negative, and this negative changed into a positive. So you can just observe that. That's kind of a pattern that will hold true. Okay, and there's your practice problem. You're welcome to pause and try it now. Okay, and here is our last example. And in this example, this is actually not different. It's just a different way of writing it, right? A lot of times we put the number out in front like this, and that this, when it's touching the parentheses, that means multiplication. This dot also means multiplication. So this 2 is still being multiplied by 4x and by negative 10. And so I do exactly the same thing. It's just you might sometimes see it written differently, and that is okay. Okay, so 2 times 4, positive times positive is positive. 2 times 4 is 8. Here, 2 times negative 10, so that's positive times negative is negative, and 2 times 10 is 20. Okay, and here is your last practice problem. So it's your turn. You're going to go ahead and try these practice problems, and then raise your hand to get checked.